Hi everyone, Underdog Chris here, back to bring you all another video. This time it'll be based on a current villain in Boruto, with the villain in question being Code. I will be going over his role in the story so far, and then speculating what he could be possibly cooking up in the near future. So with that out of the way, I'll get started. Code was an inner member of the Kara organization and is currently one of the last known surviving members of it. Kara is currently in shambles since most of its core members such as Victor, Jigen, Deepa, and Boro are currently dead. Amado, the head Kara scientist alongside his cyborg Delta, had defected to Konoha, and Oga from the anime had also defected the moment she was sent on a death mission to probe Jigen's heart by Amado, with Jigen considering it treason and destroying a bit of her brain before she fled. Then there's Bug. I'm not sure why he's around, but he makes for good meme content from time to time. Kashin Koji's exact whereabouts are still unknown, so that could be a potential wildcard for the future of the story, and could possibly be a topic for another day. But now, back to the subject of Code. I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say that Code is kind of a bozo. He's supposed to be one of the main threats of the story, but as of now, and heck, even during his own debut arc, he doesn't really seem to be perceived as such by a majority of the audience like myself, though that could be due to there being other things going on, such as Kawaki's descent into madness, Momoshiki being a constant threat to Boruto's sanity and the safety of those he cares about, the wild cards that are Ada and Damon, plus whatever the heck Amado is scheming behind the scenes as well. It almost seems as if there's a lot more going on that seems more important rather than the looming threat that Code should be. He's also just been portrayed as pretty pathetic, as he was humiliated on many occasions in some of the most disrespectful ways imaginable, such as Borushiki right here zipping past Kawaki to get to Code as he then proceeds to kick him away, and Kawaki with the Karma Amp also destroying him. But hold on, it gets even better. He then forces Amado to remove his limiters, which you think would make a difference, right? It's been hyped up for a while that Code with his limiters removed was a force to be reckoned with. But do you want to know what really happens? What ends up happening is that he proceeds to be utterly decimated by Ada's kid brother Damon, despite being told by Bug, another Kara member, the secret to Damon's powers. Keep in mind, this was supposed to be a Code who has his limiters removed. You can make the argument for the first two cases that since he had his limiters on, Code was nerfed, but for this instance, I don't know if I can really excuse it. I understand that Damon is supposed to be the top dog as of right now, but at the same time, I do think that Code should have been able to land at least a few good hits on him to show that he meant business. Then, in the most recent chapter of the Boruto sequel, To Blue Vortex, we see that Code somehow, some way, managed to lose an eye between the events of chapter 80 and the time skip, which means that either Boruto could have been the one to slash his eye, or it could have been Sasuke, whose whereabouts are still unknown, but it is also revealed to us that Code had been hunting down Boruto for 2 out of the 3 years between the end of Part 1 and 2 Blue Vortex. He was also affected by Ada's Shinjutsu despite being in another dimension. This Shinjutsu switched Boruto and Kawaki's roles so that all the hatred and resentment that Code had towards Kawaki shifted onto Boruto, though I think even this could lead to Code's undoing. Let's think about it for a second. He's been hunting down Boruto for 2 years, with Boruto encountering Code constantly and training under Sasuke. I don't think it's a huge stretch to say that he's gotten a lot stronger and has also found ways to counter whatever Code tries to throw at him. One of the 2 examples that I want to bring up would be future Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, who was hunted down by Android 17 and 18 for years, but due to the amount of times that he had encountered them, and the training that he received when he went back into the past, Trunks defeated them easily the last time that he encountered them in Dragon Ball Z, effectively saving his timeline. Ash Ketchum from the Pokemon anime has also fought against Team Rocket constantly for hundreds of episodes. After a long time, and many journeys that also consisted of taking on several powerful trainers and Team Rocket, I would say that Ash became pretty cracked towards the end of his run, as he eventually won his first Pokemon League and eventually became the world champion, beating the likes of Steven, Cynthia, and Leon to get there. So if anything, Code's constant harassment only further served to toughen Boruto up, which is shown very clearly in the first chapter of the time skip, where Boruto disrespectfully pulls up to Code unnoticed and stomps on his face, calling him a creep for wanting to hear Sarada scream in pain. So with all of these losses in mind, what's Code exactly cooking up? What can he possibly do to come back from all this, and how could those in charge of the Boruto story make him a legitimate threat? I would say that the answers are pretty simple. The Ten Tails army that Code has right now seems to be quite the force to be reckoned with. If anything, I could see Code's invasion with these creatures being one of the reasons we see Konoha in shambles during the fast-forward sequence of Boruto and Kawaki, during the first chapter and the first episode of the original Boruto. While Code has not thought some things through in the past, with Damon, it does seem like in this instance he was patiently biding his time, waiting until the time was right to pull up to Konoha and start wreaking havoc. In my opinion, some of the older shinobi's days are numbered. I feel like they could just as easily make Code kill off some of the older generation shinobi such as Choji, Tenten, Sai, and Rock Lee to make examples out of them. This would be a great way of solidifying Code as a force to be reckoned with, and to show that this time he's not playing around. I wouldn't mind this. However, the proper setup and build-up to all of this needs to be there, and the execution of this would have to be done pretty well in order for me and everyone else to actually consider Code a menacing threat. The first few chapters of the new Boruto era could make or break Code as a villain, so I really hope that they are able to get this right and prove us wrong about him. But until then, I will be holding my breath and be pretty skeptical of Code as a character. And with that being said, that wraps this video up. I really enjoyed making this video as the topic of Code as a villain is one that I find interesting, because despite my issues with him, I feel like there are a lot of things that Kishimoto and whoever is in charge of the manga could do in order to shake things up and prove us wrong. I am so excited to see where the Boruto story will go from here, and I want to thank you all for watching the video, and I hope you all have an amazing day.